So what about irrational factors? Well, irrational factors I can't actually put into factors because they're not kind of whole numbers or fractions I can put into, ax plus b. So what happens when I have that? So here's my graph, x cubed plus 6x squared plus 3x minus 2. When I sketch this graph, it's going to look like this. And I can see there's three roots. Okay, so I've got something that looks like that, and I can see that there's three roots. This one here looks like it's going to be negative 5.37, I think it is. Okay, this one here looks like it's at negative 1, and the last one looks like it's at positive 0.37. Okay, so there are my three roots. Well, there's nothing wrong with the negative 1. Okay, that negative 1, no problem. Okay, I can come up with a factor for that. That becomes x plus 1. Okay, so there's my x plus 1. But the problem is these are not to be put into factors. They're irrational roots. I mean, they cross the x-axis. There's actually solutions for an equation. So if I was asked to solve the equation, that's perfectly fine. But if I was asked to put it into factored form, well, I can't really put those into factored form. Those are irrational factors. So one thing to understand with the irrational factors, just like with non-real factors, they come in pairs. So this must be in a quadratic pair. In fact, it's a quadratic when we use a quadratic formula that we get a decimal value. But how do I actually find that quadratic? Well, just like with our non-real, if I have one factor of this, I can divide, even though I can't do anything with this quadratic factor, I can divide to find it. So that's what we'll do here. So first of all, we need to recognize I've got a real factor, but these are irrational, and these two go in a pair, and I need to come up with a quadratic factor for that. Okay, so to find the quadratic factor, I divide, just like I did last time. So I have 1, 6, 3, negative 2, 1, 5 minus 3 minus 5 is negative 2. There's my 0 remainder. So I end up with x squared. It's a different color here. So that's going to be x squared plus 5x minus 2. Okay. Well, this does not factor. There's no numbers that, whole numbers anyways, that multiply to 2 and add to positive 5. But there are these irrational numbers that solve this equation. Okay. But if I'm going to factor, I need to write that quadratic factor in. So my factored form of this then looks like this. So it's very similar to the non-real, except in this case, the roots actually show up, and we have to recognize that these roots are non-real or not rational roots. Okay, they're irrational roots. I need to recognize that. Recognize to put that into factored form, I need to find the quadratic. Okay, and to find the quadratic, we divide.